I'm Zenzi. This is Zanzi. This is an extraordinary morning. The ocean here on the edge of Monterey Bay is gigantically high. This is African king tide. This is for DC BAFJs. There's almost nothing I can say in the maybe 23 seconds I get right now. So I'm going to go real broad. We are all African ancestrally. And I'm the one to do the evolutionary logic as the Trojan giraffe of whiteness. And also the she-Einstein of consciousness. You see, I'm a degreed philosopher from Carnegie Mellon University who has had to figure out how consciousness works in order to stay alive. And it has been my independent conclusion that is true. Our people must be free, all 8 billion of them. And in order to do that, we must all understand we're all African ancestrally. And you can choose to identify with newer, more evolutionarily innovative tribes. But that seems to have went awry. We'll just say approximately nearly 600 years ago with the whiteness thought tradition. We commonly call it the Western thought tradition. Well, I'm the whistleblower of said whiteness thought tradition. You know, we're spending a lot of time on the evil that is white supremacy, but we should be. It's criminalizing it completely and de-weaponizing the police. Defunding wouldn't. It's the weapons. It's the crazy men being given weapons. The Brits don't have weapons. They have a squad, an elite squad, who come in with the weapons when needed. But if it's to protect and serve, weapons aren't needed. This whole now I understand once there's all these weapons, this is a societal discussion. It's how we think about it. You know, and we got those rights for those weapons to basically genocide the actual rightful owners of this land. You know, we aren't teeing up enough thoughts concentrically. You know, we do a lot of linear thinking, and there's this whole new movement of nonlinear thinking. What's that tell you? It's concentric thinking. This is how I do it. And I am #autistic_AF. And also, because of that, and because of being morbidly obese for my first 50 years, and then somehow ending up back there because I've been poisoned by shelf-stable food bank edibles. Here's the deal. #stand-up philosophy. We need the wise feminine. And because of all of the aloneness, because of all of, I had to develop ways to stay alive by myself, for myself. But I've hit the point where I've got to have some help. And I am #Chappelle Challenge. Dave Chappelle, cross-dressed with Eddie Izzard. I think my actual work is most like Ms. Eddie when she's just, I call it #Socratic improv. It's not comedy, although it can be funny. Because, you know, it turns out I'm the large redheaded girl who's grown up. to give Sigmund Freud vagina envy. The wise feminine has got to start taking over. We need female griots on stages, a whole movement. So the final of my three is Chappelle, Izzard, and Hannah Gadsby. What I'm asking is to, as efficiently as possible, develop the trust of my neighbors here in Pacific Grove to get an actual audition with DC, to get me to Netflix, to create the series that becomes a stand-up special at the end. And it's about a $20 million deal. I mean, because again, pay equality. But I'm good on it. It's called #BreakingBrilliant. Or there's #Redheaded She-Hulk. I really do have a lot of Lou Ferrigno in me. But I'm also philosophically Bill Bixby. I actually kind of do like this. This side's pretty Bixby, and my right side is very Ferrigno. It's one of the most cerebral intelligent of the 70s, which was not a period when there was a lot of intelligence on the TV. But the 70s Incredible Hulk, you know, they said it was gamma rays that changed him. My whole thing in this whole thing about knowing more about the subconscious than Sigmund Freud is gamma brain waves. Whether my craft jet is as good as it needs, I need a sidekick. I need somebody who understands the art of stand-up, because everyone I ask for help tries to enlarge me from stage performance persona. Gamma brainwaves, how our brain works, the neuroscience that we have. My job, in a nutshell, is to reunite the Cartesian split. When Descartes pulled apart mind and body, that's the entire foundational paradigm of all of our science. We've got a problem with science. It's only being bought and paid for to make extraordinarily rich white men much, much richer. Tiny little get me going, and I really have a lot to say, and I say it in ways that nobody else has. This rare, unique quality is really, really sincerely something that I want to give to the world, to do the global thought experiments that save our species from self-extincting. In less than 30 years, we are really at an end state. We all know it, and nobody knows what to do about it. Well, what we have to do first and foremost is to alter our thinking. It's where my philosophy comes in. I've developed life-centric thinking. This, of course, attempts to help us figure out how to do stuff about global warming rather than just going, We do a little, you do the, really accurately, and together as a community. Once again, we have the models of how did our African ancestors deal with community problems. They danced them out. They sang. West Side Storied their asses off day after day after day after day after day. We're not moving enough. We're not vocalizing enough. There is an entire new industry of clubs for humans to come out and talk about how they're surmounting their problems. All these women, all these wise women, following in them. I'm doing it for the young girls as well. What happens if I actually have self-consciousness? How many centuries, millennia, the white men couldn't do it? They can't do it because there is a difference in physiological embodiment of brains between men and women. It is. Now, there isn't just those two binaries. Very non-binary human. In the good way, in the really important way that I am physiologically biology female. But because I was morbidly obese and I didn't have a family, I had to figure out how to be a human by myself. I also have this sort of masculine thinking process. The feminine body, masculine thinking process, non-binary human. You saw me put together Chappelle and his art and Hannah Gatsby. I'm really the real deal. Now somebody's decided to just pull in next to me, so I'm going to close up the monologue. I'm here. I will do whatever it takes to build the trust, to get an investment, to get a actual into Netflix to help me do the pitch, so that I can get a broad enough stage, because I don't want to sell this just to rich Americans. This is a whole problem. And I promise you, if you spend some time talking to me, I know a lot of Africans. I have a lot. Go to the Caribbean right now, Jamaica me. Build this empire somewhere else where life is not about plantation capitalism. Of course, they're all affected by it. It's all just the root cause of everything that's wrong. The economic system. We just got to change that. We got to stop saying that there's no inherent rightness to this model of economics. Look at what it's created. We've got a lot of stuff, but what we've done to our species is brought us to the brink of extinction. All right, I'm wrapping it up. Harmony is the solution to create peace. We're all vibrating in harmony with the gamma brainwaves. Neuroscience, embodied cognition, all of the bleeding edge science is in my philosophy, which I then use to talk about entertainment things like #BreakingBrilliant. Like my big fat Greek wedding, my big not so fat midlife metamorphosis, from a polar bear to the Trojan giraffe of whiteness. All of us, including all of us, that's my gig. It deserves investment. Looking forward to efficient networking forward, or to ultimately getting a chance to really work on my craft with really highly talented humans. Thank you for listening.